All right, your weekend winners coming up at 8 a.m. this morning. If you have any, jump inside the huddle or tweet at us at OTB_ESPN. You can also get into the show on Facebook Live, or if you're watching on YouTube, remember on the ESPN YouTube channel, you can watch all the shows throughout the day, and then any show highlights will be posted. For instance, Jerry DiNardo coming up here at 7:30 this morning will be here in 12 minutes as he'll be talking about the future of college football, what he anticipates coming up in the 2020 season. That'll be posted on the Off the Bench YouTube page. So make sure you're a subscriber there and that you're notified and alerted to when content is uploaded for everything going up on the Off the Bench YouTube channel. Ross Dellinger will be here in the 8 o'clock hour as well. Coach O and the Tigers stay hot. Another linebacker into the fold. Greg Penn III announced his commitment on Sunday afternoon. Penn chose LSU over Alabama, Maryland, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and others. Another prospect from outside of the state of Louisiana. In fact, another prospect coming out of the DMV area, the Maryland area. This one comes out of Hyattsville, Maryland. Does Penn. He's a 6'1", 225-pound prospect. He's the 16th commitment to LSU's class of 2021, and as we told you inside of headlines, the 4th in the last month. So LSU staying hot on the trail as the Tigers continue to stay scorching hot. This is a big pickup for Bo Pelini and the defense.
Yeah, linebacker is a position that while the front starting line experience-wise may be a little thin, they actually do like a lot of the younger guys you have there. So this is adding to a position group that you already feel good about. But remember, as you saw, if you're an LSU fan that lived through the kind of 2010 to 2020 decade, if you ignore linebacker, you can get really empty really fast at that position. Remember when LSU, I think, for 2 classes in a row or something, didn't have a linebacker nose guard. Ross Dellinger wrote all about it years ago. Either way, good job on LSU. Another big-time recruit. And when you look now, LSU's up to number 5 in the country, according to the 247 composite. But where that gets interesting is that they are a quality over quantity right now. They're the only team in the top 6 without a 5-star commitment, but they have nearly all 4-star commitments. The only teams with higher average rankings of the current commits would be Clemson and Ohio State. Both of them already have 5 stars. Ohio State's class looking kind of crazy with 4 5 stars. Well, LSU could have a potential couple 5 stars coming in. And if you combine that with the class as it stands currently, I think you would be looking at LSU jumping all the way up to number 2 in the country, with only Ohio State likely ahead of them. So this is a class that continues to climb those national rankings. This continues to validate the fact, Jordy, that LSU is a national brand now. Out of the 16 commits, 14 coming from out of state from 10 different states, as we alluded to in headlines. So the message is not just working in Louisiana. The message is working all over the place. And we talk about quality.
That should be 13 out of 16, right?
13 out of 16? Okay.
Hilton, Savion down in St. James, and then the punter out of West Monroe?
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, 13 out of 16. Excuse me, I misspoke. Either way, a vast majority coming from around the country. And when you look at the top 10 right now, LSU, save for that Clemson class, has the least amount of commitments with just 16. So, a team like Tennessee's ahead of you at number 4, but they have 23 guys committed. The real surprising member of the top 5, and I never follow recruiting until news breaks and then I catch up on it. I didn't realize what Mac Brown and UNC have going on right now. Yeah. Currently checking in at number 3 in the 247 composite with just 17 commits. LSU will jump them whenever their 17th commit comes in, but still, what a job by Mac Brown. Not just getting, volume players early. Like Tennessee, they're ranked high, but they have 23 commits. Their class is almost full, right? They have a majority of 3 stars. North Carolina, on the other hand, only 17 commits. Number 3 in the country, a 5-star in the boat, 11 4-stars. Mac Brown is convincing people to go be a part of the Tar Heel rebuild. And who knows? Play this out. Extrapolate with me on this Monday morning. A couple of years from now, maybe you have a legitimate contender or at least a challenge, something to Clemson's domination of the ACC.
Hopefully. You would think so.
I mean, it's going to take a long time to catch up, but they're at least on the right track.
Cornerback Tony Grimes, who is the 5-star cornerback out of Virginia. My goodness, man. Virginia Beach, Virginia has some of the best talent, especially in this cycle. And another 5-star cornerback chose North Carolina on Friday over Georgia and Ohio State. So to give you an idea.
And those are the 5-star factories lately, those two.
Who Mac Brown is who's pulling in over there. So LSU stays hot on the recruiting trail as they pick up commit number 16, another one on the defensive side. This one a linebacker, the inside linebacker, as they pick up a big one there in Greg Penn III. All right, seems like college football. We said it last week. The news around college football was not good. The news around the fall was not good. We've seen since then that the Pac-12 and the Big Ten announced that they're going conference-only schedules coming up in the fall. The ACC and the Big 12 has announced that they have pushed back that decision until late July. Sankey said over the weekend that they have until late July, really, as far as the timeline is concerned. Yet this morning, all 14 athletic directors are getting together with the conference executives in Birmingham to discuss contingency plans. Sankey was on Marty and McGee over the weekend on ESPN Radio talking about advice that Sankey has that he has sought out around the country.
I have a stack of return to activity, return to play, return to practice protocols from every different league imaginable on my desk that I've read through. And it's not the most exciting reading, but it is informative. And both of those are indications of paying attention. And then the opportunity to talk to people in the NBA and the NHL and Major League Baseball and in NASCAR. So I've had those four competitive endeavors. Some of my staff talk to PGA Tour staff just to learn what they're learning.
Great media fake laugh in the middle
I
of
was
there.
about to say, as someone who is also a partaker in fake laughs to make the guests feel good, that was among the fakest of laughs that I think I've ever heard. Now, I think we might have buried the lead, though, because well, I don't know if we did bury the lead, because this is the thing about Greg Sankey during all of this, is that he is doing his best political tap dance, where he's never actually saying anything of consequence. Like, what did he even say just then? All he just said is we're in touch with we are in touch with all the other leagues.
Let's
and
see if
how
he
they're
says
doing
anything
things.
here.
Told by a biostatistician at the University of South Carolina. She said to me in early April, take as long as you need to make major decisions, or as long as you can, because every day you're going to have more and more information. And that literally is playing out in front of us every day. And that's why I don't feel any pressure per se because of somebody else's decisions. We're trying to make the right decisions for us, for the Southeastern Conference. We want to do it with the best information. It does have an impact because I've said publicly we're all linked nationally. So when other people make decisions, there's an impact. But also we're going to look at our situation and make a decision that's appropriate for the Southeastern Conference, and most importantly for the health of our student athletes.
So a lot of talk about decisions, no decisions being made. And to be clear, I don't want it to make it sound like I am being critical here, because I'm not. I think what he's doing is exactly what you have to do in this position. He is stalling for time. Everything's fluid. They're trying to get as much information as possible. And so he doesn't want to, as a leader, he don't want to commit himself to a decision point that then later ends up being the bad one. Yeah, you don't want to, exactly. Leave all your options
So here was the soundbite that really gained some legs over the weekend.
High to very high. I look at the numbers every day, and the important issue is not just numbers or looking at numbers. It is trying to understand and comprehend, and that's where literally you want experts, moving you away from the scroll or the titles at the bottom of the TV screen or the interviews of this expert or that, and find people. And we put a medical advisory group together in early April with the question of what do we have to do to get back to activity, and they've been a big part of the conversation. But the direct reality is not good. You can't mitigate and eliminate every risk, but how do you minimize the risk? And we are running out of time to correct and get things right.
Yeah, and so to me, that sounds like two things. That sounds like a man who's kind of trying to rally the troops, and I mean just kind of the SEC fan bases into maybe even if you don't believe in it personally, just do taking some action or taking it more seriously to try to drive those numbers back down. It also speaks to a man that, so part of what he's saying is to try to mobilize his base, but I think the other part of what he's saying is just on the surface legitimate. Like I said, if things get bad enough, Jordy, the conversation will be taken out of it, or the decision will be taken out of their hands. Like, the SEC obviously wants to play. We talked to Dr. Lauren about the economic impact, and it could be massive for everybody in the SEC if playing was not to happen. So they will push it as far as they can, but if it gets too bad, it'll be taken out of their hands.